In 2017, something from another star system flew through ours and broke the rules of physics. It accelerated. No engine, no fuel, no explanation. In the next few minutes, we'll follow Oumuamua's entire story, what it was, why it terrified scientists, and the strange answer we're left with today. October 19th, 2017. A telescope in Hawaii flags an object moving unlike anything seen before. Astronomers expect to find objects orbiting our sun in predictable ellipses, paths dictated by gravity. But this object was different. Its trajectory was a hyperbola, a sharp, open-ended curve. It was moving at 58,900 miles per hour. So fast, it was clearly not bound by our sun's gravity. It had come from somewhere else, from the vast, dark expanse between the stars. This was a historic moment. We had proof of an interstellar visitor. It was given a fitting Hawaiian name, Oumuamua, meaning a messenger from afar, arriving first. Telescopes across the globe swiveled to get a look. But the more we looked, the stranger it became. The data was baffling. First, its shape. As Oumuamua tumbled, its brightness varied dramatically, by a factor of 10. This suggested a truly extreme shape, at least 10 times longer than it was wide. No asteroid or comet we had ever seen looked like this. A cosmic cigar, a perfectly flat pancake, tumbling end over end. Then, its composition. Its reddish hue suggested a dense object of rock, maybe metal, scorched by cosmic rays over millions of years. It looked like an asteroid, but it didn't behave like one. When an object from the outer cold gets close to a star, it becomes a comet. The sun's heat vaporizes ice. It creates a glowing atmosphere, a coma, and a long, dramatic tail. Oumuamua showed nothing. No coma, no tail. It defied easy categorization. But the biggest mystery was its movement. As it whipped around the sun and began its journey out, astronomers tracked its position. They found something that seemed to defy the laws of physics. It wasn't just coasting. Something was pushing it. A tiny but persistent acceleration away from the sun. This non-gravitational acceleration was the central anomaly, the piece of the puzzle that simply didn't fit. What force could possibly be pushing this silent traveler? This single question would ignite one of the most controversial debates in modern astronomy. So, what could explain the push? The common explanation is cometary outgassing. Ice turns to gas, shooting out in jets, tiny rocket thrusters. The problem was, Oumuamua had no visible jets, no coma. If it was a comet, it was like no comet we had ever seen. This is where the story takes a turn. With a natural explanation seemingly off the table, some scientists began to think outside the box. None more provocatively than Avi Loeb, then the chair of Harvard's astronomy department. He proposed a sensational idea. What if Oumuamua wasn't natural? What if it was a piece of alien technology? Loeb argued its strange properties, the extreme shape and especially the unexplained acceleration, were all consistent with a solar sail. A solar sail is a craft pushed by sunlight itself. Photons, particles of light, have momentum. As they bounce off a vast, thin sail, they provide a gentle, continuous push. No need for heavy fuel. To Loeb, Oumuamua fit the bill. The sun itself was pushing it. The strange, flat shape would be ideal for a sail. Perhaps, Loeb suggested, it was a derelict piece of alien hardware, or an active reconnaissance probe. The name Oumuamua, the scout, suddenly took on a chilling new meaning. This idea was electrifying. It captured the public imagination. For many, this alien probe is exactly what they thought or hoped it was. But science demands evidence, and the alien hypothesis had significant problems. If it were a probe, why was it silent? No signals were ever detected. Why was it tumbling chaotically? While the alien theory provided a tantalizing narrative, the scientific community remained skeptical. There had to be a natural explanation. They just had to find it. The scientific community is built on skepticism. Before you can claim something is alien, you have to exhaust every possible natural explanation. Most astronomers were convinced Oumuamua was natural. The challenge was finding a model that fit all the facts. One of the first ideas was a hydrogen iceberg, a chunk of frozen molecular hydrogen. As it neared the sun, the hydrogen would sublimate, turn directly to gas. The outgassing would be powerful enough for the push, but because it was pure hydrogen, it would be completely invisible. A clever idea, but it had its own problems. Molecular hydrogen is extremely volatile. The object would likely have been destroyed by starlight long before it reached us. Theory debunked. Then, in 2021, a new theory emerged from astrophysicists at Arizona State University. They proposed that Oumuamua was a fragment of pure, frozen nitrogen. Like a hydrogen iceberg, the sublimating nitrogen would create a rocket effect without a visible tail. They argued that a violent impact on a Pluto-like exoplanet could have flung such a fragment into interstellar space. For a time, this was a leading contender. It was compelling. It used physics we understood. But science is a relentless process, and the data held one more secret. This journey from one theory to the next is the process of science, a relentless search for the best explanation. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the mysteries of the cosmos, take a moment to subscribe. We explore these fascinating topics every week. Now, let's get to the revelation you've been waiting for. In March 2023, a new paper was published that seemed to solve the puzzle. It took the comet idea and gave it a radical twist. The hypothesis, Oumuamua was a water-rich comet, but one that was processed by cosmic rays during its long interstellar journey. Here is what happened. For millions of years, radiation penetrated the comet's surface, splitting water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen gas became trapped inside the comet's icy structure. Then, it neared our sun. The mild heating was just enough to cook out that trapped hydrogen, not in violent jets, but as a diffuse, steady outgassing from the entire body. A push without a coma. The central mystery, solved. This theory is powerful. It doesn't require a fragile hydrogen iceberg or a statistically rare nitrogen-covered exo-Pluto. It uses a standard water-ice comet, something we know is common, and applies known physics to it. It explains the push, the lack of a visible tail, and the object's reddish, rocky appearance. It is the most comprehensive natural explanation to date. So, Oumuamua was almost certainly not an alien spaceship. But the reality is, in some ways, even more fascinating. It wasn't a message from another intelligence, but it was a message nonetheless. A message from another solar system, written in chemistry and physics. The water-rich comet theory fits the data, the push, the shape, the silence. For now, science has its answer. But here's what keeps astronomers up at night. We only saw Oumuamua for 11 days. 11 days to study the first visitor from another star system in human history. What if we missed something? What if the water-rich comet model fits the data, but so does something else we haven't thought of yet? Science almost never closes a door forever. Comment below. Explained if you think we solved it, or unsolved if you think there's still something we're missing. And if you want to hear the next mystery signal from the universe, The next episode covers fast radio bursts, pulses of energy so powerful they cross billions of light years in milliseconds. Nobody knows what's causing them. Subscribe so you don't miss it.